Today on Wotso videos, we are going to be coming to shocking revelations on the topic of love. Love can consume people and drive them mad with passion. It can even change who they are. This is the case of beautiful, sensitive Sergeant Tamora Calhoun. After a horrendous backstory involving her first love,
she's programmed with the most tragic backstory ever.
Calhoun had difficulties blossoming again for another. In Calhoun's programmed backstory, we learn after not doing a perimeter check, Calhoun's fiance was consumed by the dastardly robots known as Cybugs, leaving her heart calloused, hardened, and empty. Poor Tamora. But eventually, Felix Junior was able to break into her hard exterior and they fell for one another like blossoms during spring. These two video game characters seem truly perfect for one another, and I think there could be an explanation for why this is. Hello, I'm Isaac from Wotso Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people, and today, since Rich Moore, director of Wreck-It Ralph 2, has confirmed Calhoun and Felix will have a hilarious storyline involving their marriage in the sequel film, we'll be examining the hidden reason Calhoun and Felix may have fallen in love. If you are new to the channel, I'd like to personally welcome you to one of the most magical channels on YouTube. As a huge Disney fan myself, on my channel, I live to discuss every aspect of Disney films, so I would recommend subscribing and clicking that notification bell to stay up to date with more magical content and make sure YouTube's weirdness can't ever affect you. Also, make sure to check out WotsoStore.com to get some cool merch to support the channel. And okay, that's enough plugging. Let's get into the video. All right, let's go. Okay, I believe there is an explanation for why Calhoun fell for Felix, and it lies within her first true love. Although Calhoun was programmed to love her first fiance, who may or may not exist outside of simply a cutscene, for our purposes it doesn't really matter if she ever actually met him, because to her, she did love that man. In the Wreck-It Ralph spin-off prequel interactive comic app titled Hero's Duty, which is unfortunately no longer on the App Store. Trust me, I made every attempt to find it with no success. We get to learn more about Calhoun and her first love, named in the story Brad Scott. In the comic, Calhoun and her troops were assigned to travel to a wasteland planet ravaged by a new robotic enemy known as the Cybugs. And on this planet, they met the only survivor, Brad Scott, who turns out to have been the creator of the Cybugs. We quickly learn that Brad Scott has spent his time on the planet devising a theory on how to defeat the bugs using a massive beacon. Calhoun and the troops execute the plan with Brad Scott, save the day, and Calhoun realizes her high level of admiration for Brad Scott's actions, which quickly lead to some romance and falling in love. Calhoun was Brad Scott's dynamite gal. Oh geez, here comes the flashback.
Wow, you are one dynamite gal. One dynamite gal. Dynamite gal. Dynamite gal.
Although in this case, I triggered this flashback in this YouTube video. In the film, this was triggered by Felix calling Calhoun this same pet name.
You are one dynamite gal.
Out of all the little names in the universe, why were both of Calhoun's main men using the same relationship names? Seems unlikely. Interestingly enough though, Brad Scott and Felix's similarities don't end there. They also both share many physical similarities, including being white males with blue eyes, brown hair, and similar big cartoon ears, and Calhoun and Brad Scott's wedding is practically identical to Calhoun's wedding with Felix. Both weddings are in the same chapel, Calhoun is wearing the same dress, the weddings have the same flowers, and Felix is wearing the same suit as Brad Scott. And finally, the last big similarity between them is that Calhoun and Brad Scott fall in love in the same situation as Calhoun and Felix. Felix and Calhoun are tasked to end the Cybugs invasion in a foreign land using a beacon, just like Calhoun and Brad Scott, only within Sugar Rush instead of the unnamed planet. It honestly seems to me Felix and Brad Scott's similarities indicates Calhoun definitely has a type. But I don't think this type is just out of nowhere. Remember, Calhoun's backstory was programmed into her.
She's programmed with the most tragic backstory ever.
So this means Calhoun's love decisions were created by someone like you and me. Well, I mean, someone like us who knew how to code modern day 3D first-person shooters. And since it was a human coding this brand new game with brand new backstories and characters, maybe the creators programmed Calhoun to be in love with this character Brad Scott, who was based off of the already existing legendary 2D platforming video game hero, Felix Junior. Maybe since Felix was a huge icon in the Wreck-It Ralph video game industry, the game developers of Hero's Duty decided Brad Scott would be just like Felix as a type of Easter egg for big fans of Fix-It Felix Jr. If this were true, then this would mean Calhoun didn't fall in love with Felix because he was like her first love. She would have fallen in love with Felix because he was her first love. And guess what? This idea of video game Easter eggs and secrets happens a ton in the real life video game industry. Video games like Hitman Absolution have included funny gags like being able to summon an ice cream truck. In video games like Super Smash Bros. Melee, there were secrets that allowed you to take control of the heinous Master Hand. And in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the developers had an Easter egg that allowed you to play retro games in the map Nuketown, which was already my favorite map, so that makes it way cooler. It seems completely possible Hero's Duty creators formulated Brad Scott to be just like Felix Jr. This also totally works because we know Fix-It Felix Jr. was a game developed by a company named Tobikami, while we never learned who created Hero's Duty, meaning they could have been games built by the same companies. Sergeant Calhoun was created for her game Hero's Duty by developers who long to harken back to one of the original giants of the video game industry's characters, Fix-It Felix Jr. To include Felix as an Easter egg within Hero's Duty, the developers programmed Calhoun's tragic backstory around a man she loved named Brad Scott, who possessed very similar characteristics to Felix. Thus, Calhoun was in love with the characteristics of Felix Jr. Since Calhoun was programmed to be in love with the characteristics of Felix Jr., when she finally met the real-life Felix and went on the same adventure as she did when she fell in love with Brad Scott, the tough, gorgeous Tamora Calhoun couldn't help falling in love with her true love, Felix Jr.
All right, enough with the goo-goo eyes. We've got work to do. Let's go.
If you enjoyed theorizing on Calhoun and Felix's relationship, then click that like button. And if you are interested in staying up to date with more magical Wreck-It Ralph videos, then click that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So now it's time for the question of the day, sponsored by my patrons. Do you think Felix Jr. is Calhoun's true love? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other ideas you have for future Discovering Disney episodes. By the way, right now would be a great time to become a patron because I'm going to be releasing new Disney movie commentaries only for patrons, so go check all of that out in the description. If you'd like to see more Wotso videos, then check out some awesome pics over here. And as always, thanks for watching and have a magical day.